Energy costs can soar through the roof when it comes to heating your home in cold climates like this. And it can be especially complicated when you have an abnormal structure like an A-frame that does not have an attic. Well, today we're gonna be insulating this almost 2,000 square foot A-frame cabin with the most highest efficiency we can. Let's get started. All right, Googling average home R value. R value stands for heat thermal resistance. Essentially, how well does that actually keep the heat in and not allow anything to kind of seep in? In cold climates, the recommended R value is R13 through R23. In mild climates, a lower R value may be sufficient. Attics and ceilings, that's something we don't have as an attic. Common R values are 30, 38, and 49. Well, that's if we have an attic. We don't have an attic, but we're gonna have a ceiling. So let's shoot for the moon and get an R value of 49. Let's get started. So I had to just escort the insulation delivery guy. This is probably the smallest truck that's been here for deliveries, and he's not happy with this. I don't think he's that confident. He's kind of giving the stink eye, but what can you do? I'm not gonna make him go all the way into the driveway just because I don't think he's comfortable, so we'll just hand roll it down. And I hate when I get drivers that are nervous about stuff. I like experienced guys. Those guys are gangsters. You want me to just cut this open and I'll just set them all by hand? Not bad. It's like rolling a semi-trailer. You guys always have to do these by hand? There's no... So we're looking at R38 insulation bat. It's 12 inches wide, which is perfect because my span are 12 on center, but the opening itself is like 12, maybe even less. 44 bags, that is $3,171. And then we have our spray foam insulation, which has to go on first. I gotta do, I think, 3 inches of it. I got 10 kits. Each one is $796. 10 kits is $7,962. So I'm looking at $12,300 to do this cabin with R39 value. This is gonna be a lot of work. I'm gonna go buy a dolly, and I think that'll be the easiest way to get it inside the house. Oh, I need also a spray suit. That's what I need. Well, I was excited to start spraying the foam insulation until I read the manufacturer directions, and it says that if they're exposed to freezing conditions, which they have been overnight here, it's been like 20 degrees overnight, you have to have them be in a room temperature for 24 to 48 hours, which is mind-boggling to me because most of the time you're going to be using insulation is because you don't have heat in the building, like this new construction that we're doing. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take them to my house, let them sit for 2 days in like the living room. Irina's going to love that. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy a diesel heater and warm up this place so that on Monday I could have a warm place and bring them out of the inside of my truck to there. I have to baby these things. This is stupid. All right, guys. Here's the thing. In order for me to keep my sanity, make sure I'm full of energy, one thing I have to do without skipping a single day is working out every single morning. And they're not big workouts. They're 30 minutes a day, but they're every single day. And that keeps my head clear, keeps my body healthy, and I can start building. That's why I'm super excited to share the sponsors of today's video, Hydro. Folks, meet Hydro Wave Rower. The reason why I love this so much, it's the efficiency of working out every single day for 30 minutes. You have 30-minute classes with over 5,000 courses that you could take to get that number in, to get that 30-minute workout in. It's a full body workout, it works 86% of the muscle groups. It's low weight bearing, so your knees, your ankles, they're not gonna hurt. That's why I don't run anymore. That stuff hurts. You got cardiovascular and strength training. One of my favorite parts about this programs here is that not only you could just row with incredible coaches that are, might I say, very, very motivating. They're ridiculously good. But you can also do full body workouts where you could have a set of dumbbells, do your rows and do these intervals that are targeting whatever you want to target. Courses include like rowing, yoga, strength training, and more. So Hydro has two incredible rowers that really caught my eye. They have the Pro, and then this is what's called the Wave. And the Wave actually has a 33% smaller footprint on it. This is ideal for my space. I didn't want something too crazy because I don't have the space for it. And what's great about it, it's light, it's got wheels on it, you can move it around, and check this out. On days that I want to create more of a footprint in the garage here, I simply just hook this stand up and I'm able to put it away. Look at all this space here. The Wave comes in customizable colors. That's also another reason why I chose it. This is the forest color. It has a 16-inch TV, tons of courses, Bluetooth connectivity, heart rate monitor connectivity. This is everything you need to get a full body workout every single day consistently. So click the link in the description below or head to hydro.com. Use my promo code BUILD and you'll receive an additional $125 off of your rower. Now that promo code will actually stack their discount. So this Wave will be $325 off and the Pro will be $525 off plus 3 free gifts. So take care of your mind, take care of your body, especially in this new year. Check out Hydro, they're an incredible rower, and thank you Hydro for partnering us on this video. Now let's get back into this video. We got our kits. I got a heater in here to warm up the place. There's pretty strict instructions for temperature control that we're not exactly following just because it's kind of impossible in the circumstance. We will know the quality of it if the temperature is being affected based on the quality of the foam. So we'll figure that out. But two-part solution here. One's poly, one's iso. These are all chemical jargons that I don't quite know about, but this is supposed to be more of a DIY kit without you having to invest in a rig. So all of these trigger guns are all disposable. Each kit is about 850 bucks. We'll see how long each one covers. I'm gonna follow instructions the best I can. I have to put some lubricant inside here, purge the system, and then connect a tip. And it looks like there's two different types of tips. One has a notch, one does not, and I will find out which one does better and which one does worse. But it says shake them for 20 seconds. All right, looks like two different colors here. I'm sure this is the part that's gonna mix the two chemicals together. And the color is supposed to be homogeneous and kind of does look homogeneous. Let me get my respirator, my goggles, and my gloves. Let's see what happens. Okay, so a couple of little test spots here. First of all, it sucks wearing goggles with the respirator because it fogs up. So it's hard to see how much you're applying. So I'm just trying to go as consistent as possible. It's rising really well. It's kind of hard to say how fast I need to go because it's still rising. We need to hit 3 inches. That's what our engineering plans wrote out. So 3 inches of spray rigid foam, and then we got to use our bat insulation to get the R value that's desired. But all in all, this is cool. I did just learn that if you're not using the gun for more than 20 seconds, you got to replace the tip. So fortunately, they gave me a bunch of tips here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Let's party. This is kind of fun. So that's about as high as I can reach with this ladder. That's a 12-foot ladder, another maybe 3 feet, maybe 15 feet. I have another maybe 10 to 12 to go. I'm gonna use my roofing ladder for that, unfortunately. But these hoses only go up to 15, so I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of scaffolding situation in order to make it reach. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna get as much stuff as I can actually reach it right now. Onward and forward. So apparently with spray foam insulation, there's pros and cons behind it. Some pros are there's a thermal protection. You have a higher R value per inch than regular insulation. Airtight seal, that's awesome. Keeps heating, energy well, allergens out. Fills gaps, obviously. Moisture resistant, closed cell spray foam is moisture resistant. That's cool. That's what we're looking for. Deters mold, improves indoor air quality. Awesome. But there's also cons. Cost, spray foam is one of the more expensive insulation options. Health concerns, spray foam insulation may have health concerns. I don't know what they are. They don't list them here, but it just says that. Sound reduction, that's a con, but that should be a pro. And then fire retardancy. So fiberglass and rock wool are better fire retardants than spray foam. But we're also going to have fiberglass insulation in here as well. So that'll cover that. There you have it. Pros and cons. Do what you will with it. I think it's a higher energy efficiency product here. Specifically that airtight part. And the more you learn, the more you know.
These are pain in the butt to spray through. You can't get to the rafters from them too easily. So you gotta climb over all the electrical and all the plumbing and all the HVAC stuff. This is the annoying part, man. I hate it. Hate it so much.
So here's my only beef with this kit is even though there's still plenty of material inside of it, the pressure is kind of dwindling down, and so it doesn't spray as well. And there's no way to get that back. There's no connections that I know of for like hooking up a compressor. So when you get a fresh kit, it shoots it out like paint. But when you get this kit, it starts splattering. And though you can get some of it out, it's just more an annoyance of applying it. Because you're like, let me just put a fresh kit. I just want to freaking paint this thing. But that's the only downfall. But hey, we're getting through it. Oh, and also, my goggles are destroyed. Sorry, John, the shop shades are awesome, but I picked the wrong ones to wear today. I don't know if they're coming back from these. All right, so it's a 7-hour workday. I got 5 out of the 10 kits put up already. So the upstairs, the downstairs, all is done. All I have left is the roof itself down at the main vaulted part. I'll show you. Obviously, I'm gonna need to come up with some kind of solution to get up higher with those tanks. So basically the last of the 5 tanks are gonna be for this middle section, which I think I'm gonna have more than enough. My body's aching. I feel like I'm Tarzan hanging off this ladder. Hopefully tomorrow I can wrap that part down. And then it's the bat insulation. Okay, it's the next day. This is the stuff I was dreading, the very top. From top to bottom, I think we're sitting at 26 feet. These are 32-foot long rafters, but they're angled, obviously. So my 12-foot ladder is all maxed out. The solution I came up with is I'm gonna use my roofing ladder, and I put roofing stabilizers because the rails don't sit between the rafters perfectly. So that'll just keep me safe. Got it secured down below. And then I made a little DIY, little hobo looking scaffolding. And so the idea there is 12 feet tall. It's gonna give me a reach with another 15 with my hose. And so what I'll do is I'll do the top section, drop my ladder, and then move over and shimmy everything around. This is really sketchy. This thing is wobbly. I don't have enough OSB to secure it all the way around, but I think if we're careful, we should be fine. And if we're not, those things fall down and there's foam all over the place. Let's cowboy up.
We're finally done spraying. 2.5 days, 2,800 square feet on the roof. Oh man, this insulation stuff is serious. So I gotta catch my breath. First of all, no casualties. I hate ladders. I hate going up that high, but we played it safe. Second of all, there's two types of foam insulations. There's closed cell insulation and open cell. And my basic understanding of it is open cell, they'll have a little holes pointed through it. Closed cells, they're nice and full. If you have open cell insulation, you have to use a vapor barrier on top. That's per manufacturer. If you have closed cell, that's what we're using here. That is not required to have a vapor barrier on top because it acts as a vapor barrier. So we're looking good on that. I'm gonna catch my breath, grab a little something to eat, and then we'll start putting in our bat insulation. So excited. There are supposed to be 8 pieces in this roll. It's 24 inches wide, 8 feet long, covers 64 square feet, R38 unfaced insulation. Faced insulation has a paper on it. My understanding of it, the paper acts as somewhat of a moisture barrier on it, which I don't know how well paper will do that, but that's what it is. Now, when engineering wrote us these plans for the HVAC system, the R value itself, I want to confirm that this is rated for our ceiling, R49. So they gave us a couple options here. For the roof here, we could either do air impermeable spray foam or 3-inch rigid insulation. Here's why I went with spray insulation and not rigid foam. Both are equally expensive. 3-inch rigid insulation is incredibly difficult to find at a local hardware store like Home Depot. They have it as far as 2 inches. In order for us to meet code on this, it would have to be 3, which there I believe are, let me look it up real quick. Owens Cornering R15 3-inch rigid foam insulation 4x8 sheet, $187. That's ridiculously expensive. Now, it's also, the spray foam is ridiculously expensive. So I didn't compare them apples to apples. They would both be in the thousands, but I wanted to bank on something easier to do to spray than something to cut and then glue on while the ceiling is doing this on you. So we sprayed our impermeable foam. We don't need a moisture barrier. Now we have our batten that's suggested to use. We're gonna cut it. We're gonna let this side dry. We're gonna start it in the rooms. And the idea there is to shove it in place and then work our way down. I think is gonna be the most effective way to do it. Once I get to this part, it's gonna be a little, let's just say we're gonna have to do some cowboy stuff and it includes a broom. This will be fun.
This is working out pretty well. I am really thankful for these I-joists because they have this kind of recessed little pocket on both sides for the bat to sit snugly. Because if we didn't have those and we just had, let's say, LVLs or like a 2x material, we would have had to use, sorry about that light, these insulation support sticks. So looks like we won't need to use those. Also, I was gonna use a broom to get to the hard to reach spots. So I kind of figured out this little sanding pad on an extension wand, and it's been helping me kind of tuck all the little corners in where I would have to micro adjust my freaking long roofing ladder just to get to it. So all in all, working out really well, just super dang slow. That's the annoying part. All right, gotta get back at it. All right, I got our last piece of batting in. This was the most intimidating process just because how high the freaking ceiling is. I'm using an inefficient ladder, like a roofing ladder, but piece by piece, we got it all up there. It took me about 1 solid week just to do the bat. Well, I would say about a week and a half just to do the batting. That's all in place. Now we need to start handling these side walls here. These are exterior classic 2x6 lumber. So for that, we're gonna use actually faced insulation for that, which will make it easier because faced has a vapor barrier on it, which will save on quite a bit of time. So this is where our exterior wall ends. This is the roof line, again, exterior. This is the laundry room. Typically, I wouldn't need to cover it with insulation, but because the laundry room is there and the dining room is here, I think what I'm gonna do is insulate this part as well. Reason being is because this insulation also acts as a noise dampening system. So it'll allow for when the washer or dryer are on to not make a whole bunch of noise that is gonna be heard in the dining room. I love when you catch those little moments like that. You're like, that would be nice to have, wouldn't it? We just got those moments. Dining room is officially insulated. Now, this is all exposed lumber. We can't fit any insulation in there, but we do have to wrap it with a vapor barrier. So we'll just got this is, I believe, 4mm. Wrap it around, staple it in place, cut it around the windows. And I'm debating, and I don't know why, I'm debating also throwing this on this side and that side as well. Even though, yes, we have our vapor barrier there, some of the pieces that was not worth cutting, I just shoved the insulation. So technically it's exposed, and we have our stud plates right there exposed, which technically you could have a thermal break, but I don't know, I might throw it on. We'll see what the inspector says. He might just tell me to put it on, keep it on, or take it off. We'll see. Dining room's done, kitchen's done. I got the backs and the front here. Now clearly because of all these beams here, there's not a whole lot to do. Definitely have to vapor barrier it up. But for protection here, because it's 2x6, and by the time I did a little experiment, I put some spray foam in there, but you can't put insulation after it. So I'm gonna scratch the spray foam idea, and I'm gonna take all these little offcuts that I have of the bat insulation, and I'm gonna shove them all in there, throw my vapor barrier down, and I think that should do the trick. It shouldn't take too long, I don't think. Installation is officially done, and I have even better news. The inspector showed up and we finally got our energy inspection all approved. That means we are ready for cover up with drywall. Now, I had some scrap pieces of batten insulation left over just because they're 24 inches wide and some pieces like here are 16. So I had some pieces left over and I decided to put them to good use. Check this out. Since batten insulation also works as a sound dampening approach, what I decided to do, since this is a primary bedroom, I put the batten insulation in the ceiling here, along with all the ducting that's going on. Reason why is it creates a sound dampening. So when let's say kids are upstairs and they're bouncing, or mommy and daddy are having their talk down below, this creates a little bit of a quieter environment, so kind of drowning out any kind of noise. And besides, why would I just toss that perfectly good insulation? Well, after 2 long weeks of doing this all by myself, I finally got it knocked out. I saved myself a ton of money as opposed to hiring an installation guy to come do it. All in all, 12 grand is what it all cost me in materials. I'm really glad how it turned out. Really glad we got our approval, and I'm really glad that we could start continuing on with this process and getting some drywall in. Thanks so much for watching this process. In the meantime, here's a video I think you might enjoy.